And next thing I'd like to say is everywhere prices are going up. Okay, as a human being, to live with dignity, what do you need? You need food, water, housing. Housing, okay, being Singaporeans, how many of us can afford to pay up for our HDB flat right now by the time we die? How many of us? Some of us, for the amount of measly salaries we are drawing, it's not even enough to pay up by the time, like you have a 30-year loan. However, it's never enough to pay up on time. And the problem of this was, it started when they allowed PR to buy resale flats. Then once a lot of PR started to come in buy resale flats, citizens can't afford the resale market. They started to go to the new flats, and that's when they packed the sale of new flat with the resale market. People can't afford to even own a roof over our head. Next thing what we need, apart from so what I would like to get the HDB to propose is better policies, so that Singaporeans can first basic fundamental in order for a human being to live with dignity, provide us affordable housing. Next thing, what you need to live, okay? Next thing apart from that, you need after housing, you need food. Every one of us need to eat, right? End of the day. Do you find the food prices now, even eating at hawker center is becoming expensive? Mr. Vivian Balakrishnan said not long ago, 3 meals, where do you want to eat? Hawker center, food court, or restaurant? But how many of us can really, for the amount of salary we are drawing, how many of us, I would say that, okay, leave those for the working class. How about your amas and the aging citizen or our senior citizens? How many of them who have already started to they are in their retirement, how many of them can afford to eat 3 times at a hawker center for 30 days of a month? Each meal cost in a hawker center is about $10 already. On a realistic figure, one day you need about $30 just for food. And if you see 30 days, you need about $900 to $1,000. How many of our senior citizens can afford this? Next thing, water and electricity. As a fundamentals of living, and in this society, we need that as well. After food. Now we realize PUB also prices has gone up, and of course I've touched on transport, which is, without this basic necessities, what I'm saying is they can raise prices on luxury items like Lamborghini cars or BMW cars and stuff like that, but not raising price on basic necessities and essentials, which is you really need to survive, without which you cannot survive. Am I right? Okay, next thing I'd like to touch on is the pension system. You see, they say the pension system, none of our civil servants get a pension right now, and a lot of us working in the private sector do not have pension system. But even though we are not earning much, so when we retire, how are we going to take care of ourselves? The pension system previously in the olden days helped us more or less, but now we realize ministers are earning so much, MPs are earning much more than any of us down here. But is it fair that they get a pension system still even after they retire? And more or less, Minister Khaw Boon Wan, everyone knows he went for an $8 bypass surgery. I'd ask you a simple thing. How many of the less fortunate, more or less he could have paid for his heart surgery. He can well afford it. He's a minister, drawing highest in the world salaries. However, how many of us who do not have any health care, who are the simple layman, can afford an $8 surgery? Will this $8 surgery heart surgery be applicable to any of us sitting here? Do you find that there is a sort of it's either that a preferential treatments, more or less? So I would find that this type of benefits, should really go to those people who cannot afford it and not to those who can afford it. And my last say right now is for us as Singaporeans, we have to unite, and it's time for us to make a stand. We can't let people foreigners come in and insult us and get away with it, and more or less they come here, they take our jobs, they work well with us. However, we can't allow them to come here into our own homes, into our own homeland, and for them to get priority over us. Even in fact, I see here, employ Singaporeans first to upgrade minorities from third back to second class citizens. I would say that by right, we are as citizens, we must be first class citizens, and first priority be given to Singaporeans. Then next PRs, and then foreigners. And with regards to employment policies, last thing I'd like to add as employment policies, we have to follow other countries where they cannot find a suitable Singaporean to get the job. They have to make enough justification as to why they need to employ a foreigner. That's my last stand right now. It's for all of us Singaporeans, regardless of race, language or religion, to unite and to enforce our national pledge, to make a stand for ourselves, for our rights. Thank you very much.